Lee Likes Music, I'm Lee, and today we're going to talk about Ryan Adams' newest album, Prisoner, so that's coming up. So Ryan Adams has produced solo records ever since the start of 2000. He was very inspired by 80s punk and he played in a few punk bands himself, but actually what he wanted to do was to return back to his roots. He suddenly erupted as this big star from the alternative country scene. To be honest, I really haven't explored that much of his music myself, so this is kind of my first introductory album to him and to his style of music. I really got a very good first impression. This album delivers some very good material. The album Prisoner contains 12 tracks and it takes in on 42 minutes of a total length. The sound that Ryan Adams is producing is leaning towards country but also folk rock. Some of his songs also remind me a lot of some heartland rock music like Bruce Springsteen and Japandroids, which I actually talked about earlier on my channel. So throughout the whole album there's always this mix between country, folk, and this very sincere, open-hearted way of creating lyrics. The album contains a lot of classical elements, classical structures, along with some experimentation as well, and that is what I love to see in artists, that artists are able to take a classical style and then putting something new in it that we've never seen before, and that is what made this album so great, because there's something old, something very classical, and he has put his own twist on it that some of the songs here, I've never heard anything similar to it, and it just sounds. The first two songs are called Do You Still Love Me and Prisoner, and by first listening to these few tracks, I get the impression that they are very generic, but by listening to these tracks more and more, you start to hear things that are quite authentic. Do You Still Love Me has this wonderful dynamics between the different sections, between the verses and choruses. I like the mellow guitar in the background. Adams make this song sound very classical, but it's not taken to the extent that it sounds generic. It sounds very heartfelt, it sounds almost off the cuff, and it's good. It has a good feeling to it. The second song is a song that I don't like that much compared to the opening track. It is very monotone, it is very repeating and driving, and I don't know, for some reason I felt like this was boring. There wasn't really anything outstanding about this track. Anyways, I don't want to talk too much about those tracks that I find to be just good. I want to talk about the tracks that are really great on this record. Okay, so let's move on to the first song that I found to be very outstanding. The fourth track is called Haunted House, and man, this was a really great musical experience for me. There's a driving beat and rhythm to this song, but it's very mellow as well. The acoustic guitars create this amazing mood, and the lyrics as well also strengthens this song a lot. Adams talks about how it feels like to live in an old house with old paintings on the walls, old memories, and I think this is maybe something that we all come to experience later on in life as we come to our 40s and 50s, and suddenly we've experienced all these memories, and we see pictures, we see albums, maybe we visit our old childhood homes and we get there, and you know, it's nice to look at your past, but at the same time it's almost like visiting a haunted house. You know, you come to a place where you used to live and it's like a shell of your past life. Or maybe I'm just overthinking this, I don't know. Another thing that I really appreciated about this song is that it's quite short. Sometimes when you create something that's very classical and typical of a genre, and you kind of drag it out, it becomes very tiring to listen to, and yeah, it just becomes repetitive. And yeah, I like the shortness of the song. So I would give Haunted House, the fourth track of the song, I would give it an 8 out of 10. Let's jump over to the seventh track. This one is called Anything I Say to You Now, and wow, guys, this is just a gem of a song. The melody of the guitars here has this weird way of moving throughout the song. I really find it interesting because I haven't heard this way of creating melody before. I haven't heard this passage anywhere. It's so original. So the melody is quite catchy. I love the progression of the melody and the song in general. If any of you guys have ever listened to War on Drugs, some of War on Drugs' songs actually remind me of this one. It has this very dreamy yet very definite sound to it. I have to say that this is the most memorable song to me, at least, from this record. It really just carved out a mark in me. It's striking from start to finish. I just have to give it a 9 out of 10. Track number 8 is called Breakdown, and what I like about this song is that it's slightly more dramatic compared to the other songs. The melody of the guitars kind of create this river, and Adam's voice is kind of floating on top of this. It's hard for me to fathom, and it's just incredible in general how Ryan Adams is putting so much authenticity into the song while at the same time standing on the shoulders of giant genres such as heartland rock and classic rock. It's just wow. So I would give track number 8, Breakdown, an 8 out of 10. Now the final song that stood out to me on this album is actually the last song off the album, which is called We Disappear. One very particular thing that I like about this song is that there's some kind of a filter effect on the drums, and this beautifully fits into the whole soundscape of the song. The guitars are lingering in the background while Adam's voice is springing forth with this very energetic feel. Now, near the second half of the song, you can also hear this noise in the background, but you can't really recognize what this noise is, so you end up leaning in towards the speakers, or at least I did so, but I still couldn't find out what it was. And that is what's so genius about songs like this. It makes you listen to the song more and more, and it automatically puts you on this curve where you start to like the song more and more, or at least that's how I experienced this song to be, at least. To sum up the overall sound of We Disappear, the last track, I have to say that it's like a compilation of all of these noises, effects, and instruments, and it all just falls together in a beautiful way. Another thing that I want to take into consideration when rating this album is that the first part of the album is very consistent. I think there's more value in listening to the first 6 tracks. There's more replay value there. Now the last 6 tracks on the album are some of the most impactful songs that you will find here. For example, Anything I Say to You Now. Man, that was an amazing masterpiece of a song. But I also want to say that there's a bigger variety here in terms of the value. There are some really amazing songs, some masterpieces of songs here, and there's also some songs that I found to be okay, good, or maybe even mediocre. Southbound Train, for example, didn't really leave any lasting impression on me at all. And I guess that's because there's just so little variation in this song, and it tends to lean more towards this generic way of unfolding. Other than these 2 tracks, I didn't feel like there was any other songs here that kind of dragged the album down. It was Southbound Train and Broken Anyways. Those are the 2 tracks that kind of, I don't know, they leave me thinking, why did he have to put these in here? I mean, he could have left out those 2 songs and he would have a 10-track record, which would be really, really good. At the end of the day, I want to say that this is a very strong record. I want to give it a 7 out of 10. Alright, so that's it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you're interested in checking out some new album reviews or some new track reviews, I highly suggest you subscribe to my channel. There's a lot of that type of content coming out every single week. So make sure to click that red subscribe button below if this is something for you. Also, I would really love to hear what you guys have to say about this album, so feel free to leave a comment down in the comments below, alright? Again, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you later. Stay tuned. Bye.